And it's a very good morning to the Gelding on Flemington race day, and Gelding Group 1 racing returning to headquarters. And not only that, quite a number of group races today. Group 2s, Group 3s, a listed race. Plenty to love. Hopefully there'll be a big crowd.
Hopefully, Professor. Good morning to yourself and also to the listeners. Yeah, Super Saturday. Time-honoured races here, the Newmarket and Australia Cup. Many years ago, Professor, that used to be a double meeting at Flemington, one on the Saturday for Newmarket Day, and then you butted up again Australia Cup Day. But as with many things now, racing committees decide they know best. And many years ago, the VRC decided to make this a Super Saturday, as they call it. However, Professor, with these time-honoured races, the VRC is not prepared to put up the same money. We've had the Newmarket and Australia, especially the Newmarket, for 100 years, regarded as probably one of the better sprints in Australia, with prize money of $1.5 million, Professor. Next week they're having a race that's been going around for 3 years over a mile for $1,600 for $7 million. Wouldn't they have been better putting in this race, the Newmarket, and a staying race like the Australian Cup, and put prize money of $3 million, Professor, rather than create a new race?
Gelding, stop making sense, please.
I don't know, Professor. Look, it makes for a good meeting next week at Flemington. They've dissected this out, but if this race was worth $3 million, we would have had Nature Strip and Eduardo down here again. That rated the two best sprinters. They chose to run last week in Sydney. If this is worth $3 million, I guarantee you they would have been down here. And race 7, the Australian Cup, $3 million, we would have seen Zaki. You might have seen Animo.
Do you think those races might be worth $3 million if Peter Volandis had been in charge?
I think he would have rated the Bicky Ting moving for a bit more, Professor. You might have even seen some overseas horses come for him. They'd be $4 or $5 million. If Peter Volandis was running VRC, these would be $3 or $4 million, even $5 million races, Professor. And these are races that deserve that type of, credence. They've been around for years. They've been the Newmarket, the major sprint, the 2000 Australian Cup. Bart Cummings won the Australian Cup 13 times. This is a history of racing. But no, we'll form a new race and
put all the money there.
Yeah. The time-honoured race, the mile. Sure, it will build up history in that, but I don't know. You already had things there that you could attract the best stables, the best horses, and the best jockeys down to. Anyway,
well,
today's right.
Gelding, I think one thing we can say is news not always better.
Yes. Let's change things for the sake of we've got to be doing something. Geez, we're good.
All right, Gelding. 9 races on the card today. The first is at 12:35 p.m. The 2 feature races, as we've said, race 6, the Newmarket, and race 7, the Australian Cup. Track's rated a good 4. The rail's out 5 metres for the entire circuit. Everything looks set for a great day of racing today. And what are your 2 best bets?
Professor, going in the Group 1 races and using the formula or the thing of proven Group 1 horses that have won in the top class, and let's hope the cream rises to the top, Professor. In race 6, going horse number 2, Home Affairs. trained by Chris Waller, ridden by Jay McDonald. McDonald's a Sydney jockey who doesn't ride here, who's even sitting 12th on the Melbourne jockey list, Professor. So that's how good he is. We all saw how well he went during the Spring Carnival down here. And this is one of the horses he won on, Home Affairs. Been down the straight twice, Professor. Over 1,200, beating the best 3-year-olds in the land in the Coolmore Classic last year by 3 to 4 lengths going away. He's down. Then comes back this autumn and beats our 2 highest rated sprinters in Nature Strip and Eduardo down the straight over 1,000 metres. This is a bit different, Professor, I suppose, in that as a 3-year-old, but an autumn 3-year-old, having to carry 56 kilos. It goes up half a kilo from what it had to carry in the Lightning, so I don't think that's going to affect it. But, of course, some of the other horses that beat carry less weight. So, that's probably where the turnaround. Worried about Lost and Running. I think it's an upper, which will be one of our better sprinters. But, look, I think Home Affairs will win this. 2 Group 1 wins down the straight already, Professor. I got $3.90 with a bet return last night. To me, it's just a very good bet. We'll see how we go, but so Home Affairs is our first tip, Professor. And then we'll go to the Australian Cup, and we'll go race 7, number 2. Think it over. This horse down from Sydney. Group winner down in Sydney, won the Apollo over 1,400, of course, beating Colette and Very Elegant. Last start 4th on a very heavy track in the Chipping Norton to Very Elegant. Comes down to Melbourne to escape the big wet in Sydney, Professor. Form around a horse of Very Elegant's calibre, I'm going to take that into consideration. Nasrawilla comes down to ride Kerry's Parker horse. So I'm liking Think It Over in the Australian Cup, Professor. Dangers will be Cascadian and also Spanish Mission, which ran 3rd in the Melbourne Cup last year. Peter Moody's taken it over. Look, I'm just hoping 2,000 metres, just maybe a bit short for Spanish Mission. It had fantastic form over in Europe, but, I'm sure Peter Moody's put some more speed in its legs, but I think it over on a good 4-track, Professor. Your tips?
Yes, Gelding, I'm going early. Race 1, the Thoroughbred Breeders' Stakes, over 1,200 metres for 2-year-old fillies. It's a Group 3 race. I can't go past horse 5, Nanagui, coming out of barrier 9. It's had 1 start for a placing. Its only run was in the Group 3 Chairman Stakes. It was beaten a length and a half by Sebenak. Sebenak has gone on to run 4th in the Blue Diamond. So running second to that horse, I think, is very good form. It was held up for a run. I looked at the video of that race last night, Gelding. Blake McDougall was riding Nanagui. By goodness, he ran it into a wall of horses, and by the time he got out, the race was over.
Yes, and I think it was a bit unlucky, Professor, and bit of a strategic jockey change. Unfortunately, Blake's been replaced by a fairly good one in James McDonald. So, yeah, let's hope for everyone's sake, Nanaguri, is that how you pronounce it? Or
I think it's Nanagui.
Nanagui, okay. Can get us off to a very good start, Professor. Round about the each way odds, I understand.
Yes, Gelding. $3.20 and $1.45 I got.
Okay. So a good way to start our parlays, Professor, I would have thought.
Yeah, I think the big threat in that race is horse number 8, Ruthless Dame, coming out of the Ma Eustace stable and being ridden by Jamie Carr, but I've got a lot of confidence in James McDonald. You spent some time talking about his exploits during the Spring Carnival earlier in this show, Gelding, and I concur with you. Peter Moody's in great form at the moment. His career winning rate's 18%, but over the last 50, 24%, that'll do me.
Yeah, 1 in 4, Professor. Hopefully you'll get another one today.
Yeah, my second choice, race 5, the CUNY Stakes, 1600 metre Group 2 race for 3-year-old fillies. I like a bit of a roughie in that one, Gelding.
Yeah, I like it. I like the way you're thinking here, Professor.
Horse 9, Arctica, coming out of barrier 5. It's had 2 wins out of 2 starts. So it's good first up. It's good second up. The thing is, will it be good third up, Gelding?
Well, the Group 2 race, Professor, up against some proven Group 1 fillies in it. But, geez, I like your thinking. A schnitzel out of the top yard, Ma Eustace, won both starts quite easily, Professor. I like your thinking, and I like the odds that you picked up on it as well.
Yeah, I got $7 last night, Gelding, with 2.10 a place. So it's certainly great each way odds. Yes, it is a step up in class, but it's been very impressive in its 2 wins at Pakenham. Seemed to have plenty in reserve. And I was listening to an interview with John Allen after its last race, and he thought it could go up in distance. So this is a step up, 200 metres further. He thought it would go well, and he thought he had plenty in the tank. So Johnny Allen's in pretty good form, 15% win rate over his career, 24% if you don't mind for the last 50. And, of course, Ma Eustace, they're tearing the card up at the moment.
Well, winning everything, Professor. And as I said, a schnitzel, unbeaten, leading trainer, good jockey, and you're getting $7. Yeah, you're ticking a lot of boxes there, Professor.
Yeah. Just going back to Nanagui, Gelding, what I was going to mention, I did a little bit of homework on Nanagui too. The sire Sebring, five wins from 6 starts, including the Golden Slipper. So there's a little bit of class in the pedigree there.
Sebring was a fantastic horse, Professor. I think Gay Waterhouse, trained it. It was a flying 2-year-old and a beautiful, big, scopy type of horse. So, if I couldn't get a schnitzel, Professor, I wouldn't mind a Sebring.
Yeah, all right, Gelding. So my 2 horses are race 1, horse 5, Nanagui, and race 5, horse 9, Arctica. And now we'll turn to the very, 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 very successful Professor's Parlay. So even I'm talking about it like that now.
Mate, Professor, you could add another berry in there after last week, couldn't you? Hey? What? Just for the listeners, this is to pick 3 winners, yes, including a horse leg. Give me since December. How many have we won?
Well, we've won a lot, Gelding. We've missed
out of the last 12.
We would have won 8 of the last 12, I reckon.
Yeah.
So 70. Yeah. We're going at 75%.
And that's picking 3 legs.
Yep.
Yeah. This is not just let's get a horse. 1 horse out of that and get 75. This is also following up in sports. So well done, Professor. It's a very, very successful little collect for us.
I think
and hopefully our listeners.
Yeah, I think the bookies are listening to us as well, Gelding, because I did say that the AFLW was a happy hunting ground for us. Well,
what's happened?
I went to Sportsbet today. Sportsbet aren't framing a market on the last round of the AFLW. Can you believe that?
What, you've taken that much off them? They've closed the betting down.
Well, 1 or 2 things. They don't like how I've been winning, or nobody other than me is betting on it.
Professor, I think you and Sarah have been tipping the house down in relations to the women's football. As I said to you, probably, it's a competition where if the favourites do tend to get up, Yeah, even though Adelaide tried to get beaten up for us last week. And I'm just wondering whether these punting gurus are holding enough money. So they've obviously thought, well, if we can't get a decent pool to balance the book and we're losing on it, we'll just drop it.
Hey, well,
Professor, that's been a bugbear of mine with corporate betting agencies, that they can do whatever they want, whereas the TAB used to be a kind of money in and it pays accordingly. So
yeah, very interesting, Gelding. Very interesting indeed.
a talk for another day, corporate betting versus the TAB.
Yeah, it is.
What's best for sport?
Well, with luck, Gelding, it's round one of the NRL. So with Paul Delegan's tips from last week and his thoughts about how the ladder will finish up at the end of the 2022 NRL season, I've used those thoughts in picking some NRL winners today. But let's look at
Did he tip the Rabbitohs to win first up?
He didn't tip them to win first up, but he did think that they'd finish top four. I don't think they're top four on last night's effort, Gelding.
Maybe a question for him tomorrow, Professor.
Oh, I'm sure you'll be in there with that first question with that one, Gelding. All right. Let's look at the horse leg first. Race 6, horse 2, Home Affairs is our agreed bet of the day, Gelding. Currently showing $3.80. So that's good odds. That's
good odds, Professor.
And let's parlay that into Melbourne Storm. You can't bet against Craig Bellamy, can you?
No. No.
Melbourne Storm playing away to beat the West Tigers, the Michael Maguire West Tigers. That's currently showing $1.20. And let's parlay that into the Parramatta Eels, who Paul thinks will do very well this season, to beat the Gold Coast Titans. That's currently showing $1.35. So the Professor's parlay showing 13-2, Gelding. So that's very good odds.
Ooh. Professor, let's hope Home Affairs salutes for us. I certainly like your tips in the NRL. Storm undefeated first up in their history. And the Eels in the final last year, and they ran into the Panthers and gave the Panthers a very, very good run for their money, who were also pretty impressive on Thursday night.
Yeah, so, they are, Gelding.
I do like your tips there, Professor.
And Gelding, you're off to headquarters today?
Yeah, got to put the bag of fruit on, the suit on, and head out to headquarters. So looking forward to it, actually, Professor.
Well, I'll be looking forward to hearing your thoughts during the day and also tomorrow on Sportsfan Radio.
Yes, the social calendar's allowed us back in, Professor.
Finally.
For a week. But, yeah, believe me, the social calendar's not that busy. Just Sundays sometimes, a bit of family time, Professor. So, yeah, also... and just for the listeners, maybe next week may have something on Drop the Mic after its dreadful first up run. The horse pulled up lame, Professor, which was not good. The trainer decided it needed a new type of racing shoe, and it's pulled up lame. So,
well,
what more can I say about my trainer?
Well, that could say something about it. All right, Gelding, Sportsfan Radio on the YouTube channel at midday tomorrow. And what we can ask our viewers is, if they like That's Racing and they like Sportsfan Radio, well, subscribe, forward it so that other people can see it, and also tell a friend because, we're going. And also now, Gelding, you can also get Sportsfan Radio podcasts on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Google Podcasts. So we've got 9 podcasts up at the moment.
We're everywhere.
Oh, Sportsfan Radio is everywhere, my friend.
We're everywhere.
Yeah.
It's good
All right,
to see,
Gelding,
Professor.
Until next Saturday, it's good luck.
And good punting.